Hey guys and gals and non-conforming pals, and welcome back to my channel. If you remember, a couple weeks ago now I asked you guys, my subscribers, what your favorite albums were, and you filled in that form for me. So thank you very much to everyone who filled it out. So I will be ranking your favorite albums, but with a twist. And what's that twist, you ask? Well, I'm going to be doing it off of the album aesthetics. What I mean by that is the album cover and the name of the album. To help me in ranking these albums, I made a tier list. Let's have a look at the tiers. At the bottom here we have, named after the title track, which is obviously albums named after the title track. One up is the musty category. Musty's kind of worse than the bottom one actually, but it's for albums with not so great covers or names. And then we've got vanilla. This one's for albums that are not amazing but not terrible. For average album covers and average album aesthetics. Then we've got a vibe. It's a vibe. There's a clear theme there, but maybe isn't the most amazing thing you've ever seen. And finally at the top we have Pinterest Who. These albums are what Pinterest would love to embody. These are the most aesthetic, most beautiful, most amazing albums. It's just a masterpiece and a work of aesthetically pleasing art. Let's begin. First up we have Dystopia, Tree of Language by Dreamcatcher. Like, this is one of my favorite K-pop albums of all time, but unfortunately I'm gonna have to put it in the musty category. I like the name, it's creative, but the album cover is just not it. I'm sorry, it looks like there's garlic growing on it and it's the most ugly musty brown. I'm so sorry Dreamcatcher. If this was for the songs you would be at the top, but unfortunately it's not. So musty category for you. Next up is Summer Magic by Red Velvet. This one goes into vanilla. I like the name. It's cute, but the album cover is just a bit plain and a bit vanilla. You know, it's not too creative, but it's not bad, so into vanilla it goes. Next is Treasure the First Step Chapter 3. This one goes into musty. The album cover looks like a Power Ranger. I don't like it, and the album name is just kind of boring, so it goes into musty. Next is the album by Blackpink. This one got a lot of votes by people, so thank you for saving me some time. I had some trouble about which one to put this into, but I eventually decided it goes into a vibe. It knows what it's trying to be. It's sleek and the vibes all match. However, I don't think it's the most amazing album name or cover, so that's why it's going into a vibe and not Pinterest Who. Next is More and More by Twice, and this one obviously goes into named after the title track. Next is 12 O'Clock by Luna. I think that's how you call it. This one is going into vanilla because, although I love the album name, the album cover is just kind of plain and boring. Nothing new that we haven't seen from other groups before. Next is Map of the Soul Persona by BTS. This one goes into a vibe. I love the album name and the cover, but I feel it could still be a bit better or have just that little bit extra. Next is The Dream Chapter Eternally by Text. Whilst I love the name of this album, the cover is ugly. I'm not going to lie. That's why I originally put it in musty, but I changed my mind and put it in vanilla just because the name is so good. Next is Bloomiz by Neozone. This one goes into a vibe because I like the name and the aesthetics of the album cover. Whereas with other album covers with the group members all in it, this one manages to pop out to me mainly because of the colors and the staging of the members with the props. Next is Invitation by Uptension. This goes into a vibe because I like the name and the minimalistic and futuristic vibes of the album cover. Both the name and the album cover work really well together to make a futuristic aesthetic. Next is Lilac by IU, and this one also obviously goes in named after the title track. Then there is The Future Is Now by Victon. This one goes in vanilla. The name is fine and the cover is also fine, just a bit vanilla and lacking that something special. Next is Eyes Wide Open by Twice. This one goes into vanilla as well. Although I like the name, it isn't my favorite, and although I appreciate the sleek, more mature vibe they were going for, the album cover is still a bit boring to me. Next is Border Carnival by Enhypen. This one also goes into vanilla. The name is fine and the album cover is fine. It matches the concept of the comeback well, but it isn't anything special to me. Next is Guess Who by ITZY. This one goes into a vibe. The album name matches the title track well, and I like the album cover. I think it really works with the aesthetics of the comeback. The colors used in the cover also work really well together, and I love the use of question marks as the S's. Next is Plus Plus by Luna. This one goes into Pinterest Who. Our first one, congratulations. I really love the album name. It's new and creative, and the album cover is really pretty and showcases all of the members in a unique and creative way whilst also fitting the theme of the comeback. Next is Fun to the World by Momoland, and this one goes into Vanilla. The name and the album cover is nothing special, so it goes into Vanilla. Next is We Young by NCT Dream. To hopefully no surprise, this one goes into Named after the title track. Next is Love Yourself Tear by BTS. I really like the album name and the album cover, so this one goes into Pinterest Who. Next is Go Live by Stray Kids. If this was because of music it would be in the top, but I'm just not really a fan. It's not bad by any means, but just a bit plain, nothing special, so it goes into Vanilla. Next is Twicetagram by Twice. I absolutely love the name of this album and I think the album cover is really cute, so it goes into a vibe. Next is 24 Part 2 by Jeongseon. This goes into Vanilla because the name is fine and the cover is fine but nothing special. Next is The Perfect Velvet by Red Velvet. I absolutely love everything about this album. The name and the album cover are both amazing and I love the aesthetic, so it goes into Pinterest Who. Next is Time About by Yukika, and this one goes into Vanilla. It's not bad, it's not good, it's nothing special. Next is I Trust by G.I.D.L.E. Once again, I absolutely love the album name and the album cover. Absolute perfection, so it obviously goes into Pinterest Who. Next is Love Yourself Answer by BTS. We've got to Pinterest Who's in a row, y'all. I really love the album cover. I think it's beautiful and the album name is also really pretty. Next up is MCND Age by MCND. This one goes into Musty. I'm not a fan of the album cover and the album name is not creative at all. Next is In Life by Stray Kids. Well, we had to Pinterest Who's in a row and now we have two musties in a row. The album name isn't bad, but I don't like the album cover at all. I'm just not a fan of that really ugly orange. Next is Hot Sauce by NCT Dream, which obviously goes into Named after the title track. Next is Pink Tape by FX. This one goes into Pinterest Who. It's simple but the vibes are great, and I love it and it's my ranking, so I can put it where I want. Next is Equal by Woods, and although I love this album so much it unfortunately goes into Vanilla. The album name and cover are nothing special. It's not bad and it's not good, so it goes into Vanilla. Next is Crystyle by CLC. This one goes into Pinterest Who. The name is so creative, I love it, and I also really like the vibes and the aesthetic of the album cover. Next is Neozone by NCT 127. This one goes into Pinterest Who as well. I absolutely love the album cover on this one and the name is really good too. Next is Yes or Yes by Twice, which obviously goes into Named after the title track. Next is Zero Fever Part 2 by 80s, and although I love 80s, this one has to go into Musty. The name is alright but the album cover is kind of ugly, I won't lie. Next is Bambi by Baekhyun, which goes into Named after the title track. And finally we have an Ode by 17 and this one goes into a vibe. I really like the album name and I also appreciate the sleek look of the album cover. So here is the final ranking of your favorite albums. I'll leave a link in the description so you guys can rank these albums according to your taste, and then we can see if mine and my subscribers' taste is similar. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.